Behind the championships, there were years of intense personal struggle. Hurley opens up about all of this in his new book, Never Stop, Life, Leadership, and What It Takes to Be Great. And the man, the myth, and I'll call him a legend.
Legend,
yeah. We'll call it himself.
Yeah, we'll say
Dan
legend.
Hurley joins us right now. What's up, D? How you doing, Coach?
Yeah, I just can't believe I wrote a book.
Well, speaking of that, you wrote a book and you didn't just write one for the hell of it. Yeah. You wrote one and you dove deep into things that are very personal, family struggles, even depression. What was the hardest part about diving back in all of that?
Yeah, I think for me it was important to do something that was going to actually help people. Been, I think, real easy. You win a couple championships. The opportunities to write a book, and I didn't want to just mail it in. I wanted to do something that could be impactful for people. So, for me, I think there's a lot of people in the world that that are struggling personally, struggling professionally, struggling with family life. And for me, just sharing those stories, the struggles eventually making you really strong. I thought the book could have a real impact. So it was a project that I put my heart and soul in.
It's very personal. It's very painful. I think even watching that clip where it said, the UConn coronation, even after that, Dan, you still had self-doubt, still had imposter syndrome. I marvel at that. How? Why?
It's tough.
No, I know.
It's more. I would say it's probably a little bit more. I want to say healthy insecurity for what I do. As a college coach in such a competitive industry in the sports world where you're only as good as your last performance or your last season. I think, just having a healthy dose of insecurity, never feeling like you're quite good enough, never feeling like your team is quite good enough, it really drives preparation and it keeps you on your toes.
Some of that could be traced back to your family, though, too, right?
Yeah, and that's, I think, where I struggled in college, where it's like, for me, I blurred the lines between, like, living up to high standards can also now morph into unhealthy perfectionism. And then for me, I would say just that brutal practice of the comparison game.
Yeah. But some people call it your passion. Other people said, look, he's a jerk. He's off the charts. He's obnoxious, the way he screams, the way he hollers. Even Andrea, who I actually think is a big hero in this book, said, you're looking psycho out here. You're looking psycho. You're turning people off. You've crossed the line. How did you deal with that kind of criticism?
Who said that?
Andrea said it.
Well,
to you.
Well, she's got the book coming out. It's called Please Stop. Please Stop This Man. But for me, I think, number one, college coaching is a lot different.
Yeah.
Every game in college basketball is really significant. For NCAA tournament seeding, to make the NCAA tournament. I also only get a chance to coach my players in some cases 8 to 10 months, maybe 2 years. So there's so much you have to pour into these young men when you have them for a short period of time. I'm not coaching them for 10 years like I would in the NFL.
But did they have a point about how you behaved on the... Did they have a point?
I think two things could be true about a lot of different things, right? I think there's times that I regret the passion, the competitiveness, the emotion overspilling. But then I also think it's my superpower, and that my teams really...
I love that honesty.
I do,
I love that.
I do, too, Nate.
Yeah, I think my teams thrive on it.
Well, your philosophy as a coach is a style that I recognized playing sports in the 90s, early 2000s. It felt like things had gone away. And I'll just read a quote from the back here of the book. You say, pushing players to the max should be the norm, and it used to be. But these days, we've allowed people to grow soft, which is ironic because life is only getting harder.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Isn't it good?
You stick to it.
It is. I think...
Yeah.
It's not a form of punishment to instill discipline, accountability, work ethic. I mean, it's a great gift, and it's not old school. I think it's the right way to develop young men and develop young people, is to teach them those old school values. I think there's a lot of coaches today that are afraid to coach and afraid to set high standards and be demanding, because I think that they're afraid that players are just going to leave, and great players want to be coached hard.
Dan, you said you'd rather be imperfect but authentic than beloved and a phony. Yeah. And I love that too. But you have all sorts of rituals that you do, right down to your underwear, your M&Ms, shooting from the half court. Could you just talk about some of the rituals that you have? Because I thought it sounds a little cuckoo, but it's working.
Yeah, so, I'm pretty authentic. Like, what you see is what you get. And there are a lot of phonies out there, a lot of fakes that have a great public persona. But for me, that's like my armor. I still struggle with anxiety before the game. Night before a game is really tough to sleep. You wake up on game day, and you feel a little bit like death when you wake up, because you got that pit in your stomach. And for me, prayer, meditation, the underwear, the M&Ms, mushroom
Yeah, the
coffee.
certain color
The aromatherapy before the game, all these things, it's like my shield, it's like my armor. My routines kind of distract me and make me feel like ready for the game when all of them are complete.
Can we ask what underwear you're wearing today?
Yes. I got my MeUndies have books on them.
Because it's book day.
Because it's book day, so yeah.
Okay, you also talking about losses and how a loss can actually be a good thing. It can lead to more victories. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think for me, the turning point of my career to become a championship level coach was like failing over the course of 9 years as a high school coach, 2 years as a low Division I coach, 6 years as a mid-major coach, and then not being able to get out of the first round of the NCAA tournament in 2022. A lot of leaders would just look at their people and blame them. For me, I was coming up short as a coach. There were vulnerabilities in the way that we were building our roster and approaching the offensive end. So the pain of losing to New Mexico State in the first round of the tournament in Buffalo in 22 and the fan base wanting to get rid of me, I was self-aware enough to make significant changes that led to back-to-back.
Do you regret not going to the Lakers? They were offering you a boatload of money.
No.
And you and Andrea did text each other at the same time, stay, go, stay, go.
I might have regretted it in January or February when it gets so dark early in Connecticut. And the weather would have been so nice in
Go
California.
for the weather. That's not the reason.
But not the coaching part. I love coaching.
Well, Dan, listen, your style of coaching isn't just wanted, it's needed.
Yeah.
More now than ever. And how you were transparent in this book is also needed. So thank you for your realness.
For president, man. You're a long way from Jersey City.
Long way
no doubt. Incredible book. Dan Hurley, thank you so much, man. You're a legend. Never Stop, Life, Leadership, and What It Takes to Be Great goes on sale tomorrow.